Andrea Heuston here. I'm the hostess of the Lead Like a Woman show, where I feature strong, amazing, and brilliant female leaders and how they're changing our world for the better. We have over 40,000 people on social media who are sharing our message of empowering female leaders to empower others. Keep sharing, please. Follow the show right now as you listen and send it to a friend. They might be interested too. In this episode, we're going to talk about growing your impact through entrepreneurship. But first, before we get to that, this episode is brought to you by Lead Like a Woman. We've created an offer just for you. Get 1 hour of curated speaker coaching for just $350. That is 50% off. This way you can find out if you want to be a speaker. If you are a speaker, you can figure out what things you want to work on. So head on over to leadlikeawoman.biz and click on the button that says Coach Me for details. And the best way to find me, it's Andrea at leadlikeawoman.biz, or it's really kind of magic. If you put hashtag leadlikeawoman into your search bar, I come up. It really shocks me every time. So today I have the honor of introducing Chanie Gluck. She's the founder and CEO of 4D Global Inc., a medical billing, staffing, and human resources company dedicated to supporting healthcare companies grow and scale their business. 4D Global primarily focuses on revenue cycle management, efficiency, and profitability by providing specialized and experienced medical billers, all hired, managed, and supervised at its facilities located in Chennai, India. 4D Global services clients in 19 states around the US and is expanding rapidly. 4D Global won the Best Place to Work in India for 21 and 22 and made the Inc. 5000 list as one of the fastest growing companies. Congratulations. Chanie is also the host of the Growing Global podcast, a series dedicated to educating and inspiring entrepreneurs to get themselves and their businesses to the next level and beyond. Chanie has been voted the next 1,000 CEOs to watch by Forbes magazine and voted Inspiring CEOs 2021 by Insights magazine. Chanie was born and raised in Brooklyn, New York. She lives in Scottsdale, Arizona and Florida with her husband, Izzy Yetnikoff, an injury attorney. Chanie and Izzy have 4 children. She serves on the executive board of directors of her children's school as an active member of her community. Chanie is passionate about helping business owners succeed and realize their potential. So she is a perfect guest for our show. Chanie, welcome to the Lead Like a Woman show.
Thank you, Andrea. It's so nice to be here. It's so nice to be chatting with you today.
Yeah, I love these conversations. They bring me up. They light me up. So it's nice to share that with the world. So at the age of 24, you entered into entrepreneurship. Crazy. And sidebar, I did too at the age of 24. So you started your first business, 4D Medical. What called you to be an entrepreneur?
Really freedom. I just wanted my freedom. I wanted to come and go when I want, but I also had big dreams. And I felt like the only way to accomplish big dreams is really to work for yourself and be in charge of your own destiny. And
yes,
I had the idea to start the company at 19. It took me a couple of years to, fully execute and know that I had enough information and know-how. But 19 years old was really when I knew this is what I wanted to do.
My goodness. So that's interesting to me that you were 19 when you decided, hey, I'm going to do this. I'm going to figure this out. I'm going to get a little bit of experience first so I know what I'm doing. So you jumped into 4D Medical, which provide medical billing services to physicians, clinics, multi-specialty practices, and hospitals. So you did that back in 2002. Now, I want to know when you started 4D Medical. What went right?
Innocence is bliss, right?
Yes.
What went right? I was very focused. I was very passionate. I was very enthusiastic. I was very personable. I was able to close business and get people to be my clients. And I thought, that was definitely what worked in my favor. I also I started off as a biller, so I knew the material I was doing. I knew how to do what I was selling, and I think that's important. But I think you need to have a combination of both, like the operations expertise, but also be charismatic and personable and get people to like you and trust you.
For sure.
Yeah. So that definitely worked for me, even at that age. Yeah.
That's amazing. What's amazing about that, I feel like, is when we're so young, you're right, ignorance is bliss, or innocence is bliss in this case. But really, you don't know what you don't know. And you're almost fearless to some degree when you jump off that cliff and you grow wings before you hit the bottom. And it's one of those things that not everyone has. I think there's a gene that triggers entrepreneurship, don't you?
I agree. And I've learned over the years that there's something unique. You know, when you have a gift, you almost take it for granted and you think everyone has this. And you don't really realize that it really is a gift. The fearlessness, but also the crazy optimism. I feel optimism is like, I am always glass half full person. So if something went wrong, I'd be like, oh, there's just a silver cloud. You know, this is a silver lining somewhere. So never, and I think that's really very important when you're an entrepreneur. There's so many things that go wrong that you constantly convince yourself, like, it's going to get better. We're going to get through this. We'll figure something out. We'll pivot. We'll this, we'll that. So that's definitely what went right.
Well, so 2002 is when you started. That was after 9/11, the year before. So you lived through we all lived through it, but your business survived through the financial crisis, right?
Yeah. And I was in New York during 9/11. I was there.
Wow.
Yeah.
That had to be surreal in a lot of ways. Something just totally different than you'd ever experienced.
Yeah.
Find that really interesting. But then, I mean, you did that and then you closed the doors to 4D Medical in December of 2015. And I don't want to say closed doors because I think really what you did is you just created a new iteration, correct?
Well, I sold the company. I sold it.
You did. Good for you. But you retained the name because now you have 4D Global Medical Billing Services.
Well, that was 4D Medical. This is 4D
Global. 4D Global, yeah.
It was an asset sale, and so I still kept that piece of it.
Nice.
But
Good
I was
for
able
you.
to spin it off, and worked out really well.
So what made you decide to do this?
4D Global is just another iteration of the company, like where my clients were all doctors and hospitals with 4D Medical, and I was earning a percentage of collections. Whatever I collected for them, that's how we got paid. This is more on a larger scale. So this is an offshore operation. We have people in India that do the work for the back office work for other billing companies like mine. So I was selling to my customer. And then other very large medical practices and large software companies, just the same type of business on a bigger scale. And the customer was a little different because more of an entrepreneurial customer versus, a medical doctor type customer.
Right. So you went global, I want to say, and went offshore in January of 2015. I feel like that was pretty early on with offshoring. Yeah. What led you to do that? What gave you that idea?
So I was dating a guy in London and I was doing some of the billing work from his office. And he said to me, people in India will do this for nothing. And we went online right then and we put in a bunch of inquiries for, offshore. And this is before social media, before anything, just fill out a form on a website. And this one Indian guy actually came to my office in New York and met with me and offered me a free trial and said, you could try our service I think he even gave me like a few weeks of a trial. And I thought it was like the best thing ever because it was really hard to find good people, especially in New York, to do this type of work. And my mind was blown. But then I had some issues with this vendor. And I said to one of my friends in the business, I said, let's just go down to India and see like what is going on over there. And so in 2017, 2018, we took this trip. And again, we had no idea what we were doing. Like, just Google randomly finding things. I mean, I don't even know if Google was like a thing then, but anyone could just have a website and pretend that they're a company. So we looked at like 10 different companies in India, did a lot of research. And on that flight home, I decided I want to start my own thing. Like I could tell that a little bit of a sweatshop feeling, like a little bit of fear. And I didn't like what I saw. And I knew that I was going to start my own. And it took a couple of years for that to happen. Like things had to be aligned and I had to meet the right people. But luckily, serendipitously, It just worked out that I was
It all came together.
Yeah, thank God.
So here's the thing with offshore. Now we are in 2024, and I still hear people say to me, "Oh, it's not good to hire offshore, and how do you know they're getting paid well? And then you're taking jobs away from Americans." So how do you deal with those objections? I mean, I'm offshoring as well, to be clear.
Right.
And I believe it's the future. We are a global economy. It makes sense. So how do you deal, and how did you deal with those early on? And how do you deal with them now? Have they changed?
Interesting. So I tell people Amazon, Google, Amex, Chase, I mean, they are all
everyone. Yeah.
I mean, when you drive around India, you could see, I mean, they're not even shy about it, right? They're all out there. So if you want to survive in this economy, then if you're not going to offshore, you're going to pay a lot more money than your competitors for things, and you're really going to be out of business, right? So
yeah, absolutely.
And business is all about the margins and being profitable.
Yep.
And with the cost of labor cost rising in the US, it only makes sense to tap into a global workforce, because why not? We have the technology, and the people are eager to work, and they're excited to work, and they're grateful for the work, and they're lovely people that are also supporting their families, right? So there's no reason why we shouldn't offshore and leverage the global economy. I did start my podcast, Growing Global, because of that, because I was trying to get over that objection. So I was highlighting all these different entrepreneurs that were leveraging the global economy and saying, here, you see. But then COVID came, and offshoring just became the norm. Like, it's just, we don't have a lot of pushback at this point.
I still have a little in my industry, specifically with some of my older consultants or older clients. It's really interesting to see the difference in the generations and how they feel about offshoring.
Well, I think what's important to realize when you offshore is there are certain tasks you want to keep onshore, and that's mostly communication, interaction. You really, in many situations, no one should even know you're offshoring, because the easy work, the monotonous work, or things that are very simple to follow instructions that are just easy to delegate. And then there's some things that are more complex that you should keep onshore. So I don't believe in a total offshore model. I think Americans still want to talk to Americans.
Yeah, I agree.
And that's okay. I think India and other countries have a bad rep because it's hard to get over talking to someone that doesn't talk like you, that doesn't look like you. And by nature, we do want to be around people that are more similar to us. And we do want to converse with people that are more similar to us. So
I think that's true.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's really fascinating. And I think it's really true about offshoring. It's not like it's something you hide, obviously. We just talked about Chase and some of the other big companies, Amex and everybody, they have offshore talent. They have buildings in India and they put their name on them. I mean, come on. It's not a hidden thing. But to some degree, when you talk about offshoring, it's the stuff that is not just easy to do, but it's the stuff that's repetitive. It's stuff that you can say, all right, we've done this part, you do that part, we'll take the communication, get it back to the client. And it's not hidden, but it's opaque. I don't want to say transparent, but it's a little opaque. Don't you think? Or do you think it's something else?
No, I agree. I think it's exactly what you're saying. It's having that kind of understanding your business and looking at it objectively and saying what is really important for me to hold on to, and what's some of the things I could let go and delegate to someone else.
What do you see in the future of offshoring? Do you have any idea what's going to happen next? Not that you have a crystal ball, but yeah.
No, I do. I mean, I've been going to India for many years now.
Yeah.
It's been a long time that I'm able to watch. Every time I go, I see how the middle class is growing significantly, which to me shows, I personally, again, my experiences with India, and I think that from a trade situation, from a political stability, I think India is very friendly with the US. I think it's easier to do business there. I think they're churning out amazing talent that in some ways doesn't even compare to some of the American talent. Like a graduate from from college there versus a graduate from college here, there's such a disparity.
Yeah.
In different ways, right?
Right, of course.
Not either one, but they're churning, I don't know, their education system must be, really advanced.
Yeah. Ours is not. I'll be frank. Yeah. I've lived all over the world and our education system lacks a lot.
Yeah. And it shows in, as entrepreneurs, when we're looking for talent, it's very frustrating. So again, my assistant lives in Romania. There's places in Europe. There's places in the Philippines. There's people all over the world that are talented. It's really just about honing in and trying to find the talent. But I think the future for offshoring is really bright. And as entrepreneurs, if we don't embrace it, we're going to fall behind.
I agree. We're going to close our doors if we don't embrace it. Now, there are companies that can survive, and those are different. I'm talking that brick and mortar, but there's still things that can be done offshore. So I want to switch just a little bit because this is the Lead Like a Woman show, and I want to talk about you, Connie. So you're the mother of 4 young children.
Yes.
Now, I do understand how you get everything done, but I'm going to ask you, how do you get it all done?
People think that when you're very successful, you're really busy. And I find the more successful, the more the company grows, the more successful we are. I think I'm actually have more free time because I have more people doing, when you start a company, you're wearing multiple hats, but then you bring in all these amazing people that are way smarter than you. I surround myself with very smart people. I could tell you every head of each department in my company is way smarter than me, way more talented than me in many ways. And so I've learned to let go. And my team also is very encouraging of me stepping away and only, calling me or telling me about stuff that I really do need to know.
Right.
So which makes it really great for me. Obviously I have help, at home. But the things you can't delegate as a mom are, giving your kids love and attention, and the homework. And those are things that are really important. So I don't work or do anything work related when my kids come home from school and not until the next day. And I really only start working when they go to school.
Yep.
And that's my time. And I don't work on weekends, and I don't do, I think masculine energy is all about go, 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 do.
I do too.
And feminine energy is just different. Like we can get a lot done in a short amount of time. If you're organized and you plan things out in advance, that's the way I do it. I'm just organized and I delegate a ton.
Well, delegation is key. And I agree with surrounding yourself with people who are smarter than you. You should never be the smartest person in a room. If you are, get out of the room. Find a new room because you cannot learn unless you're with people who challenge you and who are smarter than you. So I absolutely agree with you there. Now, when you decided to run a business and then become a mom, you were already running a business when you became a mom, which, I was too. In fact, I started my business originally because I wanted to be a mom. I wanted to work from home and be a mom. And my story is different. It was a long road to get there, a lot of infertility and lots of stuff like that. But still, so how did your contribution to your company change after you had children?
Interesting. So I had 2 kids with my other business. And when my son was, my third kid, who's now 8, when he was 3 months old, I sold my first company.
Wow.
And I was just starting my second company, right? So,
wow.
So I would say that with the first company, having those 2 kids was a little crazy. And probably part of why I sold it was because it was stressing me out too much.
Right.
I was in Arizona, my clients were in New York, my clients wanted to meet with me, and I just didn't want to do it anymore. And
I get it.
Felt right. And that was the best decision I made. The second company, I have to tell you, the first couple of years, I was in cruise control. Like my team, I was very focused on the kids. And when I had my 4th, which he was a surprise, I had a whole plan of what I was going to do. And he was a joyous surprise, but he definitely derailed my business plan for a year. And as soon as he turned 1, I was like, okay, I'm going to India. Like I got like, And then as the kids continued to get older, I felt like I was able to have more time to like put my foot on the gas and really go. And I have to say, there were years where I was really on cruise control, and that was okay.
Yeah, I understand that. You have to be on cruise control sometimes, and you have to be able to understand that it's okay. You don't always have to be striving. There are things that deserve your attention at one point in time that will not deserve as much attention later. And that's one thing, just like you were saying, I think women are really good at that. I think women understand that innately. And if they fight against it with the masculine energy, that's where stress comes. That's where it's hard for us. I think it's really going with our leadership style, which isn't necessarily, hasn't been embraced in the past, but is now starting to be embraced.
Yes.
Yeah.
Agreed. Yeah.
So how do you lead like a woman, Chanie?
It's a loaded question, girl.
I know it is.
So I think for me, leading like a woman is leading with feminine energy. I think, like from my perspective, I think it bothers me when women try to be like men. They try to dress like men. They try to be like assertive as men. And for me, it's really just stepping into that feminine role, embracing it. I never complain about being a woman. Like people ask me,
please,
what's it like being a woman in business? I think it's my superpower. Like I
like that.
I think I have something unique that most people don't have. And I have an inner intuition. I think women have very strong intuition. We have strong instincts. We have I know in Jewish tradition, it's talked a lot about women have this inner knowing and this inner voice.
I like that.
Yeah. And so I firmly believe that we have, and I use that inner voice a lot. I listen to it a lot. If there's a client I'm not thrilled about taking on, I'll say, no, we're not going to do that.
It's that gut instinct.
Yes.
Absolutely.
So yeah, I think it's about, and there's a lot of parallels, I believe, to leadership and motherhood, right?
Yes.
Our employees need nurturing, like our children need nurturing, they need attention. And so I learn a lot from my kids on how to be a better leader.
Yes.
And the needs that my kids have, I think translates a lot into like how to build up my people, how to connect well with my clients. So I do kind of feel like there's a little bit of overlap between motherhood and leadership.
Oh, I think so too. And women are known to be empathetic leaders. And I think you have to have empathy to be a mother. It's really hard to be a mother and be nurturing if you can't put yourself in their situation, because you just don't know. If you can harken back to your childhood or really compare it at some point, I think it also helps with leadership in business. I really do. Yeah. We all need empathy. And that's one thing I think the world lacks. And so really tapping into that nurturing and empathetic side of women is important.
Yeah, but it's also like acknowledging milestones. Like if somebody, completed an anniversary, or they themselves have a birthday, or there are things that go on in people's lives that we need to look at them as people and not just as little robots working for you. Like they come with their own marriage problems, their own, children problems.
Right.
And so if you're able to
it's a whole person. It's not just an employee, it's not a cog.
Exactly.
It's not a cog. It's a person. They are people. Yeah, I agree. I also want to address the fact that you said a lot of women have tried to be like men. And when I entered the business world in 1988, so a long time ago, I entered in 1988. That's what women were doing. I had the suits. I made sure to emulate men in my style because that was the way you were going to rise through the ranks. And it's so interesting how back then, I thought that was the important thing to do. And maybe in the 80s and early 90s, it was. Let me be frank there. But really, once I learned to tap into my own leadership style, that's when I started to succeed. Yeah. So yeah, be you. Everybody else is taken. I love that quote.
It's so true.
So true.
Yes.
Well, I am sure you've had mentors in your life. I mean, you wouldn't be where you are now without the mentorship or the leadership or the influence of other people. So do you have a piece of advice or something somebody told you at one point that has really stuck with you to this day?
Yes, absolutely. I owe a lot of my success to some fantastic mentorships that I've had, many of them from EO and YPO.
Yeah.
But I would say David Berg is still one of my best mentors. And he, from EO, and he had once called me out. Like, he was able to call me out on my stuff, and a very few people that can just call you out on things. And I remember I was trying to hire like a sales leader, and I was very hyper focused on like trying to get this one person to work for me. And he said to me, "You have the scarcity mindset. You know, to get out of that scarcity mindset, there's thousands of people that would love to work for you."
Yep. And oh my gosh. So important.
When I changed that mindset of looking at things from an abundance perspective, so I don't care about losing a client, because you know what, there are plenty of other clients. And I don't care about if this one person doesn't want to work for me, there's hundreds of other, so
absolutely.
Looking at the world from a place of abundance instead of scarcity, I think is a major shift. Very important.
So interesting. And I'm going to share with you what my very first business coach told me. He said, come at everything from a position of abundance and you'll always have enough. So everywhere I go, in every room in my house, it says abundance. That's on my computer. So it's just so fascinating. When you start from an abundance mindset, you have enough.
Yeah.
It's what I'm trying to train my boys on. My boys are 22 and 19, and they don't have an abundance mindset all the time. So we're working on it. They're works in progress, just like So what kind of advice would you give to a woman who she's an entrepreneur and she wants to grow, but she doesn't know how to do it? What would you say?
So many things, but I do mentor a lot of entrepreneurs, and I speak to a lot of people, and everyone's got their stuff, right? Some of it's mindset hangups and things like that. But I would say stay focused, decide what you want. When you know what you want, then you have clarity. But so few people take the time to sit down and create their goals and what they want out of life. Some people could say, like, I want to start this great business, but you know what? You're going to miss out on your kid's childhood. Do you really want to do that? Right? I mean, if this venture is going to make you lose out in some other way, you can't take the childhood back. Like, your kids get one childhood, right?
So true.
And who wants to live life with regret? Like, no business is worth you having regrets at the end of
I agree.
Right? So it's really get clarity, know what you want out of life, know what's important to you, and then build your life around that.
That's beautiful.
That's it, right?
Yeah.
Not everyone's meant to be a business owner.
No. And that's okay.
That is okay.
And we need people who don't want to be business owners to support those who are business owners. Absolutely.
It's tough and it's not for everybody. And I don't, if you have it, you would know at a young age if you had it.
Yeah.
And if you're in, if you passed a certain point in your life, and you still don't have it, it may not be for you. And
exactly.
Yeah.
I love that. So decide what you want, stay focused and get clear. I mean, getting clarity is so important in any part of our lives, but absolutely for women, I think, who want to be entrepreneurs. Well, for women in general, know what you want. So Connie, this has been so fun. I almost hate to end it. You just mentioned one of your superpowers a second ago. In fact, you said your superpower is being a woman in business. But what would you say is the one aspect of your personality that is your superpower?
I think it's my ability to connect with other people. I really think that I'm able to, and that's part of why I think I enjoy podcasting with people like you and having my own podcast.
Yeah.
But I do really enjoy connecting with other people, creating community and connection with others. I think we're living in a very lonely world where
we are
a big thing. And I think the more we can be connected, and help each other and work together. And I love just bringing people together and facilitating and making that happen.
Oh, it's beautiful. I love that too. So the ability to connect with others. Wow, this has been such a great conversation today. It's very energy giving for me. So Chanie, CEO and founder of 40 Global Inc., where can we find you online?
I'm on LinkedIn, Chanie Gluck, Instagram, Chanie Gluck, and my website, ChanieGluck.com.
Nice. And I want you people to understand Chanie is spelled Chanie. Okay, so just remember that. Chanie, thank you so much for being here today.
Thank you for having me. This was so fun.
It was. I love it. So listeners, I want you to remember we all have superpowers. Chanie has the superpower of connecting. She's got that ability to connect with other people. I have superpowers, and listeners, you have superpowers as well. Tap into them and use them for good. Thank you for listening today to the Lead Like a Woman show, where we are passionate about empowering female leaders to empower others. Now go decide what you want, get clear, and stay focused. Have a great day.